Oppression is heavy. We put a light to it. This style is different. The winning ticket of the century. Evidently, until infinity, it's meant to be and not to be. Philosophy that's flopping over music. Hot maneuvers, take a glance, make a cyclop dance, take a capstone and castle from the one-eyed man. If you ask, can I do it? I'll say yes, we can. Any problems, we can change that. Yes, we can. No, it might not be tomorrow or this weekend, but together we can get much better and show that. By then the sun will be the major source of power. We'll have flying cars that move 500 miles an hour. The world will probably still have all its politics and problems, and they'll probably still be out there somewhere looking for Osama. But no one will be starving, and they'll legalize the ganja. We'll have free speech and doctors, switching thieves to farmers. There'll be no need for rockets, even police will be honest. Till the day we seek the knowledge. Dalai Lama to Muhammad. If you ask, can I do it? I'll say, yes, we can. Any problems, we can change that. Yes, we can. No, it might not be tomorrow or yes, we can. But together we can get much better and show that.
It's Hard Knock Radio. The song you are hearing right now is from our very good friend Ahzeem. The song is called Yes We Can, with Mayhem Mystics along with Variable Unit. Ahzeem is here in the studio with us. Man, I really like that song. It's kind of like a very realistic call to arms with nice Mellow My Man type of groove.
Sure, yeah. We wanted to balance the record out with some positivity and not make everything gloom and doom, and not make it seem like the next 10 or 11 years is going to be strictly Armageddon, and so that song we were really trying to focus on upliftment and inspiration and just vibing, and I think it worked. I think it came across.
And you also do a really good job on this album with not sounding preachy.
Thank you.
Which I know is very hard when we try to do conscious, positive hip-hop music.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate, the fact you noticed that. I was actually worried about it in going into this record, and the way I feel like I got around that was to just focus on emotions rather than focus on dogma or you should or we, and also to include myself in things that I'm talking about and not try to portray myself as a holier-than-thou person, because I'm not, I'm human, like everybody else, and I got a lot of demons that I'm constantly fighting, so I wanted to include them in my lyrics as well. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that you noticed that, and I really hoped that it doesn't come out as preachy, because it's not.
All right.
The thoughts.
Ahzeem is with us here on Hard Knock Radio, and the last time you were on the program, you were talking about your album Craft Classic. You've come with 2 records with Variable Units since then, and when I ran into you on New Year's Day at our party Resolutions, you had said that this album right here was the album you always wanted to make.
Yeah, it's true. Being a hip-hop artist, it's one thing to make music for yourself and for your friends to listen to. It's another thing to actually be putting music out for the people. You have to meet the people halfway, and I understood that at an early point in my career. This record on Mayhem Mystic, it has thoughts and concepts and certain levels of spirituality in there that I would never think about putting on a regular hip-hop record, for fear of not meeting the people halfway, and just, flying way over their heads, I don't want to speak in a language, hip-hop is for the hood, you know what I mean? So it's like if you come at them in a it's for everybody, but it's a language of the inner city. So if you don't speak the language of the people of the inner city, what's the point in making it? you're not going to reach them.
And also, this is real hip-hop music. I mean, this is you on the mic, and you've actually got an ensemble of musicians around you that are putting down some tunes. And for a lot of people in the industry these days, they think that it's a new thing, matching up an MC with a band, but you've really been doing that for years. Telefunken, you were with Spearhead during its formative years, Afro Mystic. I mean, this is nothing new to you.
No, I love working with live musicians because when you're dealing with orthodox hip-hop, you're kind of stuck in a square. You know, everything's on a 4 count and you're rhyming on certain patterns. And with live musicians, you can break off into different veins and different branches, and there's more room for inspiration and improvisation. And that's why I consider this more inspiration music. You know, they try to label this as conscious rap or political rap or spiritual rap or whatever it is, but to me it's inspiration music. It's hip-hop because of the environment that we come from, you know, the fact that a lot of the vocals rhyme, but I guess a lot of songs rhyme. It is hip-hop in the sense of the energy and the spirit that it's made in, but the music and the lyrics go into other realms, whereas you can't say it is or it isn't. It just is what it is. You know, 2 artists that I really like are Sade and Bjork, because they've actually created their own niche. They've created their own category of music. I respect that, and I would love to be someone that does that eventually in my career. I'm not saying this record does it, but I'm trying to carve out my own niche of something, you know.
Well, one theme that is prevalent throughout the record is that this is rebel music. I think in one of the tracks, you say this is rebel music and instrumental middle fingers, sort of alluding to some of the instrumental tracks that Variable Unit puts down on this record. There's another song, I think it's in the song Rebel Music, where you talk about, you know, I like to dance, but every time I turn on my radio, it sounds like it's got cancer. Yeah,
I mean, the vocals, you know, speak for themselves. It is rebel music because that's the kind of music I was raised on. You know, I grew up in a Jamaican household, so we listened to a lot of reggae. I wasn't too hip on R&B and stuff like that when I was growing up. But again, it's not preachy form of rebel music, and to me, it's not even political. It's just something's wrong, and I feel it, and I'm reacting to it. And I'm not a scholar or a historian necessarily or a psychologist to tell you exactly what it is, but I'm reacting, and I recognize a lot of other youths and young brothers and sisters in the communities, they're reacting, and we don't necessarily know what it is, but something's wrong. And our spirits won't let us just accept it and bow down to this way of life that seems to be being subliminally imposed on us. Our spirits are restless. The natives are restless, folks. Beware.
Ahzeem is with us here on Hard Knock Radio. We're going to go ahead and listen to some more new music from the album Mayhem Mystics. This one is called Birthright First.
Yeah, listen up, listen up. This is a serious song, and it's for everybody in the universe.
So let's take a listen. It's Hard Knock Radio. We'll be right back.
As we stand on the shoulders of mountains, meditating on the makers of everything counted, and can't move. What is this freedom that's founded? Nature is lost and families drowned by thousands. Cash rules, little fish in shallow men's mind make big splashes, while thoughts like oceanic whales cross eyelids. Little men lie and they lost the god science. Decapitate others so they can look like giants. Surprise, a divine art form, beats and rhyming the gods like Krishna's flutes, tuned to remind us, heal blindness. Let the works be born and give season what is seasons. Take back what's yours, and that's water and fire and earth. Air with price tags, water and fire and earth. They didn't make that, water and fire and earth. They don't control that, water and fire and earth. We let them hold that, our birthrights first. They can't control that, water is birthright first. They cannot own that, air is birthright first. They can't control that, freedom of space. I want freedom of space. In the beginning was the Om, sing along, I and I. Let there be fire, let there be light, let there be earth and life within waters. Why I gotta turn around and pay you for it? I can't ignore it, cause we sung by traps. Pretty soon they'll be charging us a sunrise tax. Black air gets thicker and thicker from raw greed. We don't need weed and liquor, now we just breathe. And the oil is Earth's blood, so you own that as thieves. While the rulers and the rich celebrate, we all bleed. Pierce through the shadows of invisible schemes, and we want our tomorrows right now by all means. Over
water and fire and earth, air with price tags. Water and fire and earth, they didn't own that. Water and fire and earth, they don't control that. Water and fire and earth, how could they hold that? Water and fire and earth, air with price tags. Water and fire and earth, how did they own that? Water and fire and earth, they didn't make that. Yo, get your birth right back, come on.
freedom of space, freedom of space. Why can't I be free? Freedom of space, not speech. Give me my freedom of space. Why can't I be free? And you ain't mad yet. They use your money for wars, and you ain't mad yet. People getting more poor, and you ain't mad yet. It's best you get pissed off. I'm warning you now, it's about to jump off. And you ain't mad yet. They use your money for wars, and you ain't mad yet.
Birthright First is the name of the song. It's Hard Knock Radio. And man, that song is saying a lot right there. I mean, there's just all kind of issues in that song.
Yeah, well, the concept kind of came to me because I realized that, you know, you have fire, air, earth, and water. These are the things that we're made of. We're actually made of those things. We need those things to survive. They've been provided here for us. Yet somehow these government systems have figured out a way to pimp the people and make us pay for it. We pay for fire, we pay for water, we pay for earth. The only thing they haven't figured out what to make us pay for yet is air. And they're going to figure it out. They're going to say, oh, well, the air is too polluted, so we have to do this special work that you don't see it, but we're doing it. And now everybody has to pay because we're cleaning up the air and something. They're going to figure it out. So I'm like, man, these is our birthrights. Why do I have to pay for these things like this? And like I say in the song, pretty soon they're going to be charging us a sunrise tax. They'll figure that out, too. If they could, they would. Yeah, the sun that shines over this particular part of the country, we own that part, so we're charging you for the light and so anyway, yeah, but I wrote that song in India. I was in India traveling around, and I went to Rishikesh, which is near the Ganges River, right on the Ganges River, actually, by the Ganges Mountains. And it's where, everybody's a vegetarian and everybody's focusing on meditation and learning how to levitate. And, there's gurus and swamis and all kind of, it was amazing to see that there's actually people still in the world who will go up and live in a cave at the top of a mountain and not speak for 10, 15 years just to be able to figure out the secrets of the universe is incredible. And I actually saw people like that. Yeah. I salute them.
And actually that song, Birthright First, it reminded me of a conversation that I had several years ago now with a native elder who told me that as human beings, we have arranged these sacred covenants with the different elements, with water, with fire, with earth. And over the years, especially through these new technologies, we've destroyed those covenants.
Sure.
And he told me that you're going to see the change is going to happen. You're going to know the change happens by the way we begin to treat our children. I was like, man.
And how our children treat us, probably as well. That's how it would manifest for man, because it seemed like his and her children are the only fruits that they really hold sacred, but everything else, people don't pay attention to what's going on. The thing about the elements is, they're both positive and negative. Fire can cleanse or fire can destroy. Fire can the sun gives life or it can burn, Water can do the same thing, give life, or it can flood and drown and destroy. It's people's intentions. If I take a hammer, I can take this hammer and I can build a poor man a house with it. Or I could take a hammer and I can bash somebody in their skull with it. It's my intention of it's not the hammer that's wrong. It's not magic that's wrong. It's not so-called voodoo that's wrong. It's people's intentions and what they do with them, And I think that's the problem. The greed and the vanity and all the waste and the selfishness and white supremacy, these are the things that the world is suffering from right now,
And for folks who are just tuning in, it is Hard Knock Radio, and we are talking about hip-hop music. And this is the kind of hip-hop music that would spark a discussion like this. This is how deep it can get, folks. This is Ahzeem, and we're going to actually listen to another track off of your brand new record called Mayhem Mystics. It's an album that he made with Variable Unit, and it's out now on Wide Hive Record. This song right here is called Under Surveillance. This is Hard Knock Radio. We'll be right back.
Yo, check this out. You got the CIA, the FBI, plus the eyes are us, right? Well, our eyes are on this box, a box that's watching us. That's right. The TV's watching you. You want to make a BET? Don't think the CIA can't see us. Don't you BBC something as UPS. We think we're watching TV, but TV's watching us. Oh, yeah. If it's all mathematics, I'm the madman Pythagoras. Rolling with my man from Atlantis in a chariot. Waiting on a caravan, camping in your area. Camels can't work, I need an elephant to carry it. There it is, flying on the vine, out of limits. A bottle with a rhyme and a song stuck in it. It's packed with thought patterns, cats across out and immaculate scribes in my back. I talk at them, I'm more than schizophrenic. I'm a walking Manhattan. I like it when the voices in my mind start yapping. The snare cracks, hands on my neck just dance. Stand up on my body like a redwood branch. Get a little bit, savor every moment that passes. It's slow like seconds, a minute dipped in molasses. Enhanced airborne, rugged and rare form, running affairs, and so we followed in airports. Therefore we hear y'all music transform, hitting the stage, putting legs on your dance floors. We turn haters to 100,000 ravers. Pictures taken by FBI agents, dancing with their headphones on while the song goes in vans on the street or on telephone poles. And it goes, and it goes. If you live in Las Vegas, you under surveillance. Standing in LA, you under surveillance. Whole Bay Area, under surveillance. East, West, Oakland, you under surveillance. Cameras are placed over projects and cuts. COINTELPRO coming telephone trucks. You heard that click in your phone, didn't you? Yeah, you know who that is. Oh, yeah.
There's another one, Under Surveillance.
Yeah.
Just completely breaking it down. Do you believe you're under surveillance?
I'd rather not say. The song was actually based on, the first was the piece, which is actually an old spoken word piece that I've had called TV's Watching You, which was basically based on the same thing. You know, I don't know, traveling around like London, for example. London, there's so many cameras everywhere. You come up from the tube, you see your face on the big screen. There's so many cameras everywhere. In New York, there's so many cameras everywhere. And when you go around in certain areas and communities out here in Oakland or even in San Francisco, if you look in places where you don't usually pay attention to, a little crevice, a little corner, a little pole, you'll see them. Like, whoa. What is that camera doing there? And it's happening. It's really happening. The Big Brother's watching you thing and all that is kind of real. We are all under surveillance. If you pop up on the radar just a little bit, they're going to check for you. And that's just what it is. But you should never be afraid to tell the truth. You know, if all you're doing is telling the truth, then they should be able to, they can watch you, you know, all day long. They can hide in your refrigerator, you know, whatever.
Ahzeem is with us. We've been talking about his new record, Mayhem Mystics. It's a new record that he made with Variable Unit. And one thing we haven't really talked about is your style, your delivery. The only word that I can really come up with is it's mathematical. It's very mathematical. The thing that I would say distinguishes it from other quote-unquote mathematical MCs is that the visual depth that you're able to deliver within that is amazing. The pictures that come to mind as I listen to your music is like, man, you are really able to take people on a journey with this stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, mathematical. It's funny that you say mathematical because that was always my worst subject. I'm bad in math. But I do know what you mean is that I've naturally, because of writing regular hip-hop, you know, I've naturally trained myself to pay attention to the syllables and the amount of syllables into each line. And it's important to me that each line fits. You know, not that it's too short or it's too long. And I can't explain it, but I can hear it in other lyricists when I listen to them sometimes. I call it a laziness personally. You know, that certain lines just don't fit, but they just kind of keep going. You know, I try not to have any of that laziness in my writing. I want everything to fit naturally, and I don't really have to try anymore. The lyrical content, the only thing I can say to that is that I wasn't good in school. You know, I just didn't really participate much. I'll just say that. And I dropped out at an insanely early age. But I did discover reading also at an early age. So I've read all my education and my vocabulary, everything like that comes from reading all kinds of things. And eventually, when I got through like the whole Panther books and all of that, and I went, you know, the Malcolm X book and everything, and I started to dip into West African authors. And then from there, I started to find, sometime around in there, I started to read more esoteric / occult / spiritual / religious / philosophical, whatever they're calling all this stuff now, information. And it just really set me off. And I've been on a hunt for these things, for these rare type of books ever since then. And when I read them, they stick with me. Somehow I have some type of, almost like not a photographic memory, but I retain the information that I read in these particular books really well and really easily. So it's something, it feels right to me, you know. And so it's really the stuff that I'm reading that's coming out. What you put in is going to come out. Mm-hmm. I used to work really hard on writing because I knew deep down inside that it was the only thing that, not the only thing, but the main thing that I could do that would help elevate myself and my life. Because I knew at a very early age that it wasn't going to be school. It wasn't going to be a conventional way of going to college and getting the job and wearing the tie. I knew that from very young that I couldn't do it. So I immediately started to work on a craft, and I chose writing because it's in my family. My father and his mother were writers, you know, and so I just naturally jumped on that, and I haven't stopped since. And I tell people all the time, man, if that's what you want to do it every day. No matter what you want to do, if you do it every day, you're gonna master it eventually, you know. And so, yeah, that's for all you rappers out there that want to get a record out. Just keep writing.
You know, in addition to some of these source materials that you've been talking about, that is what has sort of brought forth this metaphysical approach to some of your lyrics. I would say, just because I know you, that your foundation in Islam had a lot to do with that too, especially when we talk about the mathematics and bringing out the metaphysical aspects of math in your delivery. I think is also a part of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, my spirituality is a very personal thing to me, and that's another thing, I don't preach about it in my lyrics. If you're a Muslim and you read the Quran, and you might listen to this record and you'll hear certain things from the Quran in there. To other people, it'll just be poetic. Islam is, to me, the thing that kept me out of going to prison, you know. It's the thing that gave me dignity at a young age, where I was wild and I had no boundaries. I had no boundaries. It also set more of a fire to learn. You know, there's something about Islam. Maybe it's something about being a so-called black American and growing up in because I heard a Rasta man say, yeah, Ahzeem is a Muslim because that's what a black man should be in America if he wants to uplift himself. And in Jamaica, it's Rasta. And over here, it's another thing, you know. And I sort of understand what he means. The political system that's set up out here, the racism that has occurred, you know, there's a lot of things that have happened in the past in this country that people still are affected by. And there's something about the faith of Islam that elevates me as a brother. It elevated me above all of that and helped me to overstand more and helped me to see the unity and gave me a certain dignity that I wouldn't fall into the traps that are out there for me. Yeah, if it wasn't for Islam, I'd be singing Shake That Monkey like any other rapper. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I used to write like that, you know, but Islam changed that. I can't write like that now.
Cool. I appreciate that. I just brought it up because, you know, there's such a stereotype about Muslims right now.
Right.
Especially with the way these latest events have been unfolding. Well,
you know, they say that there was, when George Washington and some of the founding fathers, you know, touched down on these shores, that, you know, there was one word that would never be spoken on these Western shores, and that one word was Islam, you know. I don't know whether or not that's true or not. It's just a little inner city folklore. But because of that, the reason I'm saying that is naturally there's always been in the West, Islam has always been stigmatized and always been, you know, talked about, you know, as far as the rights of women and so many things that they just put out there. But any seeker of truth will say, well, wait a minute. Why is there all this energy being spent against this one thing? Let's weigh, well, who's saying these things? Well, what do they do? What do they do in the name of their religion? How much blood is spilled in the name of their religion, you know? All these things that they say that they're pointing the finger at other people's or religion, they're guilty of. So the truth seeker should just seek, and you're going to find what is and what isn't. Islam is a beautiful religion, you know. You know, God is one. Don't oppress and don't be oppressed. Feed the poor. Paradise is at the feet of your mother. All is one. All paths and all religions lead back to the Creator. It all depends on your sincerity, and that's the highest truth.
That's the voice of Ahzeem here on Hard Knock Radio. We're going to go out with one more track. Music is the medicine. Do you want to say a little bit about this before we bring it up?
It's the one song I was worried about putting out there because I feel like if ever the powers that be were going to get mad about my record, this would be the song, particularly the third verse. And that's all I'll say. And, you know, for those who, you know, who have ears and can hear and understand, they'll know what I'm talking about. And if you're curious, then hit your websites and check out some of these things I'm talking about in this song. And beware, because the snake and the owl are everywhere.
I think I'm playing this song because of the third verse. I just got to. People got to know.
Yeah.
People got to know.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not here next year, I'll be at the federal detention. I mean, the Happy Clown Candy Center, located in the Arizona desert, 20 miles below, being reprogrammed.
Well, man, now you got me scared to play this song.
It was all good. It'll sell records. Hey, it disappeared. Oh, man, buy that record.
All right, here it is. The music is the medicine. So
one love, everybody. Peace and love. This is Ahzeem. Twice its oppression, till depression sets in, causing pressure, seeking pleasure. That's the treasure of flesh, but it's a test mixed with lessons. Measured by intense sweats, reflect the cups of wisdom, which incites freedom. The clock strikes uneven, the price is deceiving. Actions grant you bullets, wiretaps and beatings. Leasing the elite seats, just to tax us, and they cheat us like some cheaters. And we zebras, they don't govern us, they eat us. They sell the corporations our bones when we're defeated. I see demons dressed as doctors, judges, cops, and preachers, deceiving us. Believe that each should be each other's teacher. The sentence is this medicine, so let it in. So let it in. The sentence is this medicine, so let it in. Will someone with a piece of valid reason tell me why so many demonstrations and movements have been organized by spies, and the eyes of FBI's can take our pictures, building files for the reason they kill prophets? All our heroes are dead now. If the oceans turned to ink and all the trees turned to pens, and we wrote down all our sorrows, the list wouldn't end. From deceptions and catastrophes that were caused by few men, as the black arts corrupt their souls, we're misled to protect occult shrines where society hid before our eyes in secret ancient dollar bills and crests. So we dive into the scripts just so we can gain the strength to grab the serpent by its neck until that day
they flags upon the shoulders of resistance, resurrected in the essence of the young seeds and the siblings. 360 degrees we spin, no ending, as we strive for perfection, to escape from this dimension, and we do so just by seeking for a better glimpse of wisdom. Now, some of us are different, and I've heard many explanations, like they come here from the Draco or the Orion constellations, and controlling us in secrecy through organizations like the Rosicrucians, the Shriners, Templars, the Freemasons, or the 99 Lives, the Skull and Bones, the list just lengthens. When Lucifer bears light, Illuminati means Satan. These are not hallucinations. If you seek, then you shall see, and sing songs for protection, cause they're after you and me. So be careful.